All right, hi guys. I know we didn't spend a whole lot of time going over the geometry topics, but we touched on a little bit of intro or a little bit of refresher into the basic kind of terms of it. For these last several weeks while we're on digital learning, we're going to hit just the basic topics of our remaining subjects, just the basic kind of vocabulary to refresh your minds on all of this before our school year ends, and hopefully we can pick it back up in the normal school session if we return back to that at the end of the year. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and look at our next topic, which is writing ratios. So looking at ratios, specifically a ratio is a comparison of two quantities using division. So a ratio can be created, that comparison can be created and used to represent relationships within a set. So meaning part of something to whole, so part to whole comparison, which means you're comparing a part of the group to the whole entire group, all right? Or your comparison could be between two individually separate sets, which is what we call the part-to-part ratio. So if we look at two examples for a second, we've got the two things going on in example one. We have the number of female dogs versus maybe all the dogs you have in your house. So in my case, I have 2 female dogs and I have 4 total dogs. So this would be considered a part to whole. Because again, I'm comparing the part, which is how many female dogs do I have, to all of the dogs I have in my house. So again, 2 female to 4 dogs in the whole house. Or I could compare number of female dogs versus the number of male dogs, which would be considered a part to part because I'm comparing 2 single parts here. So in my case, I have 2 female dogs and I have 2 male dogs. So again, a part to part. Now, regardless of which type of ratio I'm going to write, every kind of ratio can be written in 3 different ways. We can use the fraction form. We can write it as a fraction, but there's one specific rule here for writing them in fractions, and that is that it must be in simplified form. That's the biggest thing here with the fraction way. Now, it is number 1 for a reason, because the other 2 ways to write these fractions, the other 2 ways to write these ratios depend on that simplified fraction. So the second way we can write it is with a colon in between the 2 values. So the colon is just the 2 dots there, one on top of the other, so we can use a colon. And the third way is to physically use the word to. So TO in between those 2 quantities. But again, I can't write version 2 or version 3 without that simplified fraction. So to show you an example, we're going to look at this picture we have here. Example 2. Write a ratio in 3 ways to show how many footballs to tennis balls. Now there's a little clue here. Notice how the physical word to is sitting between football and tennis ball. That is your clue on the 2 objects we're going to compare. Footballs being the first one, so let's see how many footballs we have. All right, so footballs, we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them. So there's 4 footballs. And now let's count the tennis balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So for your tennis balls, there are 6 of them. So my comparison is footballs to tennis balls or a part-to-part group. So when I'm looking at this ratio, I'm going to start off in that exact order. Footballs first, then tennis balls. So 4 to 6. Now, I need to reduce this fraction down. Both of these numbers are even. You can use your Desmos calculator to simplify this fraction down. 4 over 6 is the same as 2 over 3. So that simplified fraction, my first answer. When we use the colon and the physical word to, I have to use this 2 and this 3. So my second way is 2 footballs, colon, 3 tennis balls. So there's my second way. And then with the physical word 2 to 3. And there's my 3 ways. So again, the final answer is based off of that simplified fraction. Now, let's take a look at a part to whole relationship. So now write the ratio in 3 ways to show the number of footballs to all the balls that were there in the group. And so if I'm looking at footballs, which was 4, I had 6 tennis balls. So how many balls total do I have? So that means we need to add those up. So 10 total balls happening here. So what I need, footballs to all of them. So I need my 4 and the 10. So I'm looking at, to start my ratio off, start with your fraction, 4 over 10. Again, reduce that fraction down, simplify it out. They're both even numbers, so 2 will go into both of them, or you can use your Desmos calculator if you like. So this will reduce down to 2 over 5. There is my first answer. Then we can use the colon. So 2, your colon, and the 5. And then our last one with the physical word 2. And there's my final. All right, guys, I hope you got something out of ways to write your ratios. We're going to be working with these 3 different ways in some of our upcoming lessons. Bye, guys.